Hello again, bit of a different backdrop today. I can't go in the room that I'm usually in today, so change of scenery. Today is another video on how I made my journal. This is a different kind of journal to what I showed last time, because if you watched my previous video on how I made a journal, I binded it like this. This is the journal that you saw on the last video, and it's more of an open bind book. But today's video is on how I make hidden binded journals, and specifically I've made two types. One is it's a homemade closed bind book. So I've, made the binding, I've sewed the pages. This book specifically is an adventure book, so it contains pages to write in, but it also contains other things like flags that you've explored or post stamps from your travels to fill in here. There's also some pages where you can put things in pockets, and there's another page which is like a Q&A. The rest of the book is for you to use your imagination. So that's one type of book that I've made. I'm not going to video how I made that. What I am showing you today is this book that I made. So it's an actual hardback book. Specifically, this one is the Charles Dickens Great Expectations, and rebinded it with my own paper. Now, as you can see, I did make a little mistake, but it's not really that noticeable and it doesn't really matter. So this is the book that I'm going to show you today, so let's get into it. So for this journal I used a book cover, so I had to take the pages out of the book, and in this case it was a Charles Dickens book, and I'll just skip over this because it's quite boring. So once you've taken the pages out, don't throw that away because you can use those pages for when you decorate your book. Once you have the cover, then you want to find a piece of cardboard that can be the lining in the centre. So as you can see here, I'm measuring it out. You need to make sure that there's enough space in the centre for you to perfectly place the cardboard. So as you can see here, I'm just making it neater. Once you've got that piece perfectly aligned, you want to create 3 dots on the top, the middle and the bottom. You can see my reference here if you want to use that. It doesn't really need to be perfect. So now you want to cut the pages so that they fit in the book. One good way of testing this is standing it up and lining it to see if the pages stay inside the book and you can't see them on the outside. And then you want to cut that down and repeat with all the pages that you will be using in the book. So I'll skip to that. So here are my pages. To give you an idea of how much I used for this book, I split them into 3 piles, which all had roughly 8 pages. So now you want to align the pages the way that you want it to fill in the book. So ordering it out, which is what I'm doing here, and add any material that you want to add. So as you can see here, I'm going to add this text page just for detail, and a map here that you can see me cutting out. And then just check that you're satisfied with everything. And then once you're satisfied, you need to clip the top so that the pages don't move out of the way. Great. Here I just decided at the last minute that I wanted to include a page for decoration. Now what you want to do is measure where the holes will be going, using the middle bind to work out where the holes will go, and then you want to punch your needle through the centre as a reference point through all the pages. And then with your needle and thread, you want to punch through each paper individually so that you know the needle is going directly in the center of the folding. And then you pull it through the binding at the back. And then once you've done that, you need to clip the binding piece of cardboard onto your pages so that it doesn't move, and then stitch down the middle and do the same thing again. And then once you've pulled that out, if you want to move any of your clips so that you can get a better angle, then do so. And then you want to stitch down the top bit. Then you pull through, and to tie the thread together, you need to re-stitch down the middle again. This bit doesn't really matter as much, so I just kind of push it through the center and then use that thread to tie with the other thread. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So once you've tied that together, you want to repeat this with the other two stitching. So as you can see, the 3 sections are now added in. So the next thing that needs doing is sorting out the gap between each part. So you want to fill that with anything that you want. As you can see here, I'm using a page from the Charles Dickens book. So I get some sticky tape and stick that in. And then you just repeat that with the other 2 gaps, as so. So now you want to attach the pages to the cover of the book. So I'm applying sticky tape. This is because it's very strong. And once you've done that, you want to fill the middle section with white so that the whole of the cover inside is white. So I stick that in. And then you place the pages over the top. And make sure to press down, get it all sorted. And then here I'm just trimming down any pages that look out of shape. Now the next thing you want to do is get the book that you ripped out, and the first and last page are the harder cover pieces, and you want to rip those out and you want to stick them at the front side page and the back side page. And there you have it, the finished book. So now as you can see here, I'm getting all my decorative pieces, materials, and just decorating the book. And it's all about just experimenting, finding what works, basically just pick and choose things, see what looks better. And yeah, once you finish with that, you have the final book. Here is the state of my room after. Just thought I'd show you guys the mess that journaling causes. So this is the final product. If some of you like these types of books and don't want to make one yourself, you don't have time, you'll be happy to know that I now have an Etsy account. So these books are on the Etsy account. This book isn't, so you can't buy this specific book, but if you did want an open bind book like this, then let me know in the comment below. But this book and this book will be going on my shop, so you can buy them. Now before I continue with the video, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that the reason behind the price of the journals is because of the hard work that goes into making them. It can take days to make these, and I do have to buy certain things to put it together. However, that being said, the majority of my journals are made from recycled and scrap items because I want to be more environmentally friendly, and I feel that using waste paper and cardboard and stuff like that, you can put it into a new journal. For example, this pocket that you can see is one of my dad's 1970s envelopes. These pages are from an old notebook that I disposed of and didn't want. This map was used in my sister's Duke of Edinburgh raffle tickets I clearly didn't win, old music sheets from my piano lessons, newspapers. To make the binding of this book, I had to take the cereal box, layer it with paper, and then place this over the top. And the paper that was used was my old GCSE exam paper. So, you know, every single page in this book was coffee stained. So that is why it's the price it is. So my Etsy account will be down in the description box below. Make sure to like this video if you want to see more of this, and subscribe so that you don't miss a video. And I hope you enjoyed how I made this book. Bye!